The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors, and I'm your host. And tonight, I got a very special guest, professional wrestler, Big Bear Matouch.
What's going on, Leo?
Bear, thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate this. I wanted to have you on for a while. So this is going to be a lot of fun. It goes by really fast, as you'll see.
All right.
Before we get started, I just want to say that referee Matt Calamari, someone that you know personally, suffered a stroke. And we here at The Ring and All Other Sports, and Big Bear himself also, we want to wish you a very speedy recovery, Matt. Godspeed, Godspeed, buddy. Real quick, shout-outs to my cigar friends and my cigar group, Gar Stars, Derek Dukes, my former co-host, Joe Agosto, Taylor Norseman, Sam the Cigar Man, Joseph Gilberto, Beth Dramus, and everybody else. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Bear, before we get into the wrestling stuff, I know for a fact that you're a gigantic Celtics fan.
I am.
You got season tickets? You go to a lot of games, I know that.
A lot of games. I do have a guy who has season tickets, and he usually gives me a good deal on them.
Nice.
Always a fun time to go to the Celtics, you know?
Oh, definitely. It's my girl's favorite sport. I'm more in the Bruins. I love the Celtics, too, but I'm a hockey fan. Just wanted to talk a few minutes about the Celtics. Yeah. Right now, we got three guys, pretty big stars that are injured, and Marcus Smart, Kyrie Irving, and Gordon Hayward, who's, we know is Smart coming back? Some tell me he's not.
I don't think he's going to end up being back by the end
but
of this.
But it's not official yet.
It's not official, no.
Okay.
No, the same with Kyrie.
Right.
I don't think we're going to have him for the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
I just have that feeling that he's not going to be there. But hopefully he gets better quick enough and get ready for Cleveland because they're going to hold that up for the second.
Oh, definitely. And I'll tell you, they have a good enough team to get by. They don't have to play, really great.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, one guy that's impressed me a lot, and he started impressing me last year, was Terry Rozier.
Oh, big time.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, what a player. The other guys we got on the roster, too, that have surprised me this year is Aaron Baines.
Aaron Baines, he's a good big man. Him and Greg Monroe make a good team for the big men on our team right now.
I agree. And also, who's impressed me, and we got him in that big trade, is Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
Now we traded Avery Bradley in that one.
Bradley, yeah.
That kid's good. There was a lot of talk about him being, maybe a little trouble in the locker room, but he's been nothing but great so far.
No, he's been playing good game. He's been hitting solid threes for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he's a big guy, and he's physical. That's something that the Celtics, I thought, needed last year. A guy that teams might be afraid of, because we haven't had that since we had Kendrick Perkins.
And that's why I kind of like Greg Monroe, too.
Yeah,
he's that big guy that gets in deep and gets in the middle real quick, and he's just beast in the middle there.
There he is. And what about the two young kids?
Tatum and Brown.
On Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Wow, huh?
It should have been him. He should get Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Honestly, but, obviously it's probably going to go to, what's that kid from Pistons? I think it's the Pistons, right?
Yeah, I forget his name.
Simmons?
Yes, that's it, yeah. He's good,
He's
too,
good,
though.
he is. But it's technically his second year in the league.
True.
That's
Ben, right?
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, though. Technically it is, but he didn't play enough games.
Exactly. So.
Kind of like, that happened with the Bruins with, I want to say, Torrey Krug maybe, one or the other. Somebody on the Bruins that they only played so many games their first season, and they were still, actually, I'm sorry, it's not even the Bruins. It was Ben Attendee of the Red Sox. That's who it was. Sorry, guys. He only played like 40 games, and you have to play so many at-bats in like 48 games or something.
Yeah.
So technically last year,
like that.
Last year Ben Attendee was a rookie. But I really like these guys. I mean, even with the injuries, we still have a big-time leader in Al Horford.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like you said, with guys like Greg Monroe, and how I said too about the other guy there, Baines.
Baines, yeah.
And what about I'm sorry, Greg Monroe. How do you say his name? Daniel Thias?
Theis?
Theis.
Daniel Theis, yeah.
He's pretty good
He
too,
is,
man.
He
He really
he's not
is.
bad. He could be a little stronger, I think.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he's got a good game. But I just think he needs to get stronger to the post.
Right.
You know?
I like how we can go, like, with these injuries, we go 10 hard, 10 guys. But when these guys come back, we go 12 guys. I mean, a lot of teams only play 9 or 10 guys. I mean, they have 12, but they don't play them all.
No, not at all.
This team is great. A lot of people said, too, Brad Stevens. What did you think when they first signed Brad Stevens?
I wasn't sure. I didn't think he was going to stay around. I figured they were going to use him for a couple years to be, like, I figured that we were on a downslope.
Right.
And we never hit a downslope.
Not at all.
We hit maybe 1 year that was bad.
Yeah, but not that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Right.
And then we got Jason Brown. Yeah. I mean, no, not
Jalen.
Jalen Brown.
Yep.
And then the team just started picking up. And then we got Horford.
That was
and we
huge.
got a big pickup. And then once we picked up Kyrie this year, I was like, oh my God. I mean, and I think that's who's helping Terry Rozier become a better player
so, yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
I mean, his handle skills alone, it's unbelievable. It's like top 10 every week in the handles,
Yeah, absolutely. I like these guys. I mean, he played for Louisville, Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
And I followed him in the in the tournament and stuff like that. March Madness, which was an incredible tournament.
Yeah,
Villanova versus Michigan.
Yeah, but
tonight, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be awesome.
But this year is gonna be all about that 16 beating the 1.
That was crazy.
That was nuts.
I mean,
that was nuts.
And look at who was it the other night? The 11 seed was that Loyola, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it all the way to the Final Four.
I know.
That was awesome.
That was.
That's what I like about the tournament.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. So real quick though, Toronto's the best team in the East.
Yeah.
Houston's the best team in the West. Houston's probably the best team in the whole league. I mean, they're 62-50.
Yeah. That's a tough team. James Harden's a beast.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
But go Celtics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And now it's time to get into your career.
All right.
First, we're going to start with a little get-to-know-you interview. I like to do this. Bear, where'd you grow up?
All around the Boston area.
Yeah.
Mostly Lynn, Malden, Revere. I lived in East Boston for a little while. Lived in South Boston for a little while. So basically all around the area.
Yep.
It was not bad,
Yeah.
Lived in a little house in Malden for a good amount of my time with my grandmother, my uncle, and my dad. So it was not bad. We had a little bit, but we got it done.
Right on. I hear that. How old were you and where were you when you first saw professional wrestling?
I was a baby.
Yeah.
I was a baby. My grandfather was into professional wrestling, probably bigger than I am.
Really?
He used to go traveling to go see all the shows and stuff like that. I remember when I was like 3 or 4 years old, he was taking me to shows out in Revere, and then he'd take me to the shows at the Boston Garden, and then next thing you know, we were at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And, it's something I always wanted, seeing all those old guys. And I mean, Bruno, I seen the Bruno matches, and like, I'm only 33 years old. I'm not that old. Like most people my age are talking about Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. I was watching Bruno Sammartino. Wow. I was watching Haystacks Calhoun. Yep. I was watching Fabulous Don Morocco. Wow. Yep. I was watching all the old school guys, Dusty, Ric Flair. Yep. I mean, my grandfather had matches, the old NWA. I remember watching, I think it was the year I was born, 85 Starrcade, Flair versus Dusty for the title. And I think it was a bull rope match.
Yeah, wow.
And I remember watching that all the time. And I remember every Saturday morning, Friday nights would be at my grandfather's and grandmother's. Saturday morning, we'd be sitting there watching wrestling, and then afterwards, I'd go over to my next door neighbor's house, and we'd sit there and we'd play wrestling forever.
Nice.
I had all the guys, everything.
Right. That's cool. Well, that's what going into the next question. Were your friends into it?
A few were, a few weren't. Sometimes people are like, "Why do you watch this stuff?" I'm like, "Why not?"
Right.
I mean, you'll sit there and, the females, you sit there and watch the morning soap operas and Jerry Springer. How fake do you think Jerry Springer was? Come on.
Exactly.
Most of the people were probably wrestlers, There was a few of them. There was a few of them.
Yep.
Tiny the Terrible.
Jamie Dundee was on quite a few times too.
So it's like, you can't, everything on TV, you watch a movie, action, you think the guy's really jumping off the building,
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing.
Yep.
We just have, it's just something we have fun watching, and you don't expect it, you expect the unexpected when you go to a wrestling show. You never know what you're gonna get,
Right.
Just think, Shawn Michaels coming down versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Or Jeff Hardy jumping off like the Titantron onto tables.
Wow.
You don't expect stuff like that.
No, not at all.
From anybody. That's
right.
It's just crazy. But for people to sit there, why do you watch this fake stuff? Well, it's not really fake because this guy's really landing on the floor.
Yep.
I hate that when people say
too.
it's fake.
And I loved how you did the analogy of the girls watch the soap operas, because a lot of people do say that wrestling soap opera for men.
Yeah.
And I love that you watched it as a kid, because I started watching it in 1973. Bruno was my man. And they just added All-Star Wrestling to the network, and I've been watching a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you decide that you wanted to be a pro wrestler, or when was the first time you even thought about being a pro wrestler?
Well, graduated high school, and there really wasn't much for me in college and stuff like that. So I was going to night school for auto tech and stuff like that. But I was working at a pizza shop, delivering pizzas, making pizzas, doing what you have to do. And one of the guys that worked there was into like the backyard wrestling.
Okay.
But he was talking about a school that was opening up, Richard Burns' Superstar Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
It wasn't opened yet, so I was going to check out Kowalski's school.
Right.
But when I got there, Kowalski was like, I'm not taking any new students because I'm closing soon.
Right.
And then he was telling me about a couple of schools that were coming, and one of them was Superstar Pro Wrestling, and one of them was the Chaotic.
Right.
North Andover from where I was living.
Yep.
I was living in Malden at the time. The school was in Malden. It's kind of hard to, choose the one in North Andover when you're right down the street from it. So I went down there one day. They just opened up. There was like 30-something, 40-something students there.
Wow.
And I was like, fell in love. I was like, all right, I think this is what I want to do. Got signed up, and, Tony Roy, Richard Burns, and Bob Rush were the trainers there. And, every once in a while they had the old school guys that came from Kowalski's, Stephen King.
Yep.
He used to come in there, Damon D'Angelo.
Yep.
He used to come in there. Those guys were like mainstays, Archangels. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great tag team.
I love them guys. I was like, holy crap. This is what I get to do. I get to see the guys that I used to like want to be.
Right.
And now I'm here being them. It's like, all right, let's do this.
That's awesome. And you're talking about tag teams. Rush and Roy were at the French Connection.
Yeah, the French Connection.
Great tag team. So you told us who trained you and stuff. Who else? You said there was 30 or 40 people. Anybody like that I would know, or these people would know, that were in your class with you?
Well, Benny Jux was one of them. He was in our classroom. Let's see, Stunning Sean Stevens.
Yep, I know.
You may know him. Danny Miles. He's a big
Oh,
guy
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Bam Shaw. He was there.
Oh, wow.
Matt Ledge. I don't know if you really know.
I know.
him.
I know who he is.
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
not
well.
really big, but every once in a while, Eddie Edwards, DC would stop in. Nikki Rocks would come with them. Suki Sami.
Yeah.
She would be there. Stiff Mike came
Nice.
every once in a while. Shout out to you, Stiff.
Yes.
Bast almost broke my ear. Oh man.
He's been on the show.
He gave me my first chair shot.
Really?
And I was sitting there waiting for it. He hit me with it, and it hit the tip of my elbow. And I thought I shattered my elbow.
Right.
It hurt so bad. And he was like, well, next time you'll know to put your elbows. And I'm like, you're right.
That's Stiff Mike for you.
That's stiff for you.
Absolutely. How about telling us about your very first match? First, was it a battle royal?
No,
All right,
actually,
because
no.
everybody seems to say a battle royal.
My second match was a battle royal. My first match was actually against Bob Rush.
Oh, cool.
It was a school show. It was 6 months after we've all started
Was that
wrestling.
the USWF? Is that what he called it?
That
right?
was the USWF,
Okay.
yep. He had it at the school. It was only like a $5 charge because it was all students and stuff like that. And Bob was like, I'm going to wrestle you and I'm going to put you over. I was like, really? I'm like, all right. I'm like 6 months in. I'm like, I'm going over my first match. Great. This is awesome. And next day, show comes. He's like, because of how big you are, I talked to King Kong Bundy yesterday. And I was like, really? Like, so what did he say? He's like, he says, because it's your first match, I'm not going to put you over. I was like, all right. But we had a good match. It was fun. I went for a splash, missed it. He got back up and he hit me with a chain.
Oh.
And we were all so new.
Yeah.
Even the ref was looking right at him, hit me with the chain. And then still counts to 1, 2, 3. I'm like, where's the disqualification, ref?
Right.
But that was my first match.
That's awesome. Rush, he is a great wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
I had no idea those guys train you. That's an awesome story. How about, before we get into the fan questions, name some of the companies that you have worked for besides USWF, obviously.
Yeah.
I've seen you all the time at UFO, Pat Dillon's.
Yeah. Big Time Wrestling.
Yep.
I wrestled for this place over in Russia. I really don't know I really don't know the name of the program.
Yep.
It's still over there.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know the name because obviously I have a poster over there at my house and stuff like that. I actually started a riot. Ended up getting an AK-47 to my head. Scared the crap out of me. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
How did that come about going to Russia?
Well, when we first got there, we had a student that was Russian.
Okay.
And she was going back to her country.
Right.
She, I guess her boarding pass was over and stuff like that, so she had to go back. Well, her and Richard Burns kept in talks.
Right.
And the guy I guess there was a guy over there that had her wrestling, and she said, hey, I got these guys over in the U.S. that, they all know how to wrestle really well. We can bring them down, and, we paid for a lot of the trip to get there, but I mean, it's experience,
Absolutely.
I get to go see Moscow and all this other stuff.
Right.
I seen some great things out there. It was so much fun, Some of the houses and stuff looks like Aladdin's Towers.
Really?
Red Square and stuff like that. It was
that's got to be quite the experience.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Why don't we jump into the fan questions?
All right, yeah.
All right, so Anthony Mark Balkas, a very, very great fan of the show, who I appreciate very much.
Good kid.
Has a few questions.
All right.
He wants to know, how long have you been wrestling?
Well, I think this September will be about 14, 15 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's definitely a long time.
Oh, yeah, my knees are feeling it.
I'm sure they have. He also wants to know, who have you not wrestled in New England that you want to? And it can be in any company in New England, not just the ones you work for. Anybody you really want to work?
Oof, there's a lot of people in New England I haven't wrestled.
Right.
Guy like me gets a lot of the squash matches, the little kids and stuff like that. I don't get a lot of the good competition.
Right.
I wouldn't mind wrestling like Brian Malonis. I've never wrestled him. He's a good guy, and I think we'd have a hell of a match.
Oh, I definitely think you would too.
One guy that I'd actually thought about was Keith Lee.
Oh,
he is a big boy.
He is.
And I mean, something about big guy wrestling. There's always, two big guys getting in there and just hammering it out. It's always a good match.
Oh, definitely.
Matches I've always liked was like Jack Maverick and stuff like that because he's another big boy. But there's some talent out there. You got the what's his name from Chaotic over there?
Casanova.
Christian. He's a good Christian. Yeah, Christian Casanova. Scotty Slade. Those guys
Cam.
are good. Cam, yeah.
Just won the Chikara 2018 Young Lions Cup. Congratulations.
Even at the school, I don't wrestle many of these kids at the shows. Tim me and Tim Lennox, I think, would have a great match.
I think so too.
Me and the other Timmy Thunder.
Yep.
Channing Thomas. I think he's a really good kid. I like his style, and
Yep.
we always have a good time in wrestling at the school and stuff like that. I think it would be good for a show.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And it's like you said, like Christian Casanova is just killing it with the Killer Nova gimmick and everything.
Yeah,
Him and Triple
yeah.
Licious. They just won the Chaotic
yeah.
Tag Team Championship.
What started out as what he was doing the Michael Jackson thing,
Yeah.
and he's just turned it into something that he likes, and man, it's just blowing him up.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's worked his ass off to
Yeah.
get there. One more question for Anthony Mark Valskis. How far do you think the Celtics are going to go this year?
Man, I want to say all the way, but I think if they do it right, they can go all the way. But I think they will at least make the finals.
Yeah, Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think we'll make the finals.
I agree with you 100%. He asked another question that you already answered online. When are you going to take him to a thing? I loved your answer.
Yeah.
After they win the finals, I'll take it. That was awesome. But Anthony Mark Valskis, thank you again, man, for supporting the show and always asking a question when I need him.
If they do win, I will keep that. I will
Nice.
keep that, and I will take them.
That's awesome. I'll be looking forward to posts on Facebook. My buddy that you met earlier when we came in, Delfino, he has a question for you. Who, and this kind of is the same thing of what he just asked, but it's a little directed a little differently. Who are some of your favorite New England indie workers that you like to watch?
That I like to watch. I like watching Slick.
Yeah.
Slick's a good one to watch. His matches are always real good. Another one we talked about earlier, Benny Jukes.
Yes.
I love watching that kid's matches. Every match is like 5-star, especially at the UFO shows.
Yeah.
And when he has one of those kids from the school,
Alex,
he just blows it apart with them.
That was an incredible match.
And he can do that night in, night out. And
Right.
it's crazy how he does it.
Yeah.
He can take someone that doesn't know a thing and just bang, snaps it into them, just gives them the few things that they need to know, and the next thing you know, he's having 5-star matches with these kids. Kids only like 4 or 5 months into the business, and he's just pulling out matches that you don't expect.
It's a good guy for the kids to get in the ring with, because you know what I mean. He really does help them out. And that match I was just saying against that with
Alex Price, I think is his name, his wrestling name.
That kid, very new.
Oh yeah,
But that match that I saw between him and
Benny.
Yes, was incredible.
It was.
Honestly, it really was. It was the same night Malonis fought Dickinson.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, how is anybody going to follow that match? And these guys, I'm nothing against Malonis and Dickinson, but I honestly and truly believe they stole the show.
They did. I think they did. I really do. Even if Dickinson actually grinded on my grandmother that night.
What?
Yeah, my grandmother was in the audience. She was the old lady sitting in the wheelchair, and
The dirty daddy
and
at
the
it
dirty
again.
daddy gave her a lap dance.
At it again.
And gotta say, she loved it.
All right, so listen, my buddy that was on last week, I don't know if you saw it, but Dan Bolia, he wants to know, have you ever worked for Chaotic?
No,
That's
I
his
have
favorite
not.
promotion.
That is a great promotion.
I agree.
And I mean, that was always something I would like to do.
Yeah.
Especially Brian Fury taking it over. Man, that guy has a great mind for the business, and he's teaching all these kids something real good. And I mean, him and Bo training these kids that are coming up around this area it's crazy,
Yeah.
how good they're gonna
trainers.
be.
Yep, I agree. Cody Hunter Ward, another past guest. Who's been your biggest opponent? I think I know the answer because I just seen you in the ring with him a couple times at UFO shows. Is that true?
Bugsy would be one of them, but I've been in there with some big guys. The Pharaoh.
Giant Pharaoh.
Giant Pharaoh. I mean, he's a big boy.
He's tall.
Rick Fuller.
Oh, jeez,
I've been in there with him.
Right.
Some of those guys, especially Rick. I seen Rick at one of the when he first came from WCW, and he was still like, holy crap, I'm gonna get killed this match. So yeah, I mean, I've had some matches that with some big guys, but Bugsy is a pretty big guy.
Sure is.
He is. That's a real tough one to answer, you know, Because all three of those guys right there, they all have a difference in big.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Well, because Rick's got the size and he's like jacked.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh's just what? He's 7
he's
feet,
like
right?
7 feet tall. I mean, look at it, just look right up to him. You know?
And Bugsy's what? 6'6", 6'7"?
6'6", yeah. But,
I mean,
you know.
3 big guys that you've been in the ring with. That's awesome. My buddy Nathan Fuller. Again, Nathan, thank you too. He comes up with a question every week. Who is your favorite? I kind of put a twist on it too for you, Nathan. Who is your favorite WWE wrestler now, and who from the past? And it's great that I'm asking it this way because how you said you were into Bruno and stuff. So, how about now first?
Now, I like a guy who talks and backs it up.
Yeah.
So I like guys like Kevin Owens. I like Bray Wyatt, his gimmick, man.
Yep.
It's just something different. Those guys, they have it, but they have that factor that, we can talk on the mic, but we're going to beat you up too.
Right.
You know? We can really do some damage. And that's what I always like, the guys who can back it up.
Right.
But, they have that mouth.
Yep. Well, what about in the past?
Past? My favorite wrestler in the past and almost kind of all time is Roddy Piper. Man,
Nice.
My favorite promo of his was always the one where he sat there screaming, and the next thing you know, he just slams the beer off his head.
Oh, the glass bottle.
And he's just bleeding, and he's going on with the promo. And
Yep.
He doesn't stop, and he's got glass sticking out of his head.
Was that from California? I want to say that might have been from L.A., no?
It might have been. I'm not sure where it was from, but
Right.
I just remember watching it over and over again, when I was first trying to wrestle, and I just trying to be like that,
Right.
trying to be like a Dusty character, or,
Yeah.
someone who just had that jive of talking and was able to, take the fans and just minute you say one word, it's like bang, gotcha.
Right. That's awesome.
Those are the
Piper was
guys.
so good at that.
Yeah, he was.
Next question from Freddie Moxley Reeser. Is that how you say it? R-E-C-E-R?
I think
Reeser?
so.
He wants to know, what's your finishing maneuver? I know what it is, but let's tell them what it is.
It is called the bear trap. I come out usually off the corner or I hit the ropes. The guy will be on his hands, his knees, and I come and I flatten him. And the reason why I call it the bear trap is anyone who knows what a bear trap looks like,
Yep.
I basically splat him on the mat like a bear trap.
Nice.
And he's
That is a
stuck
good move.
underneath my body. I'm a big guy,
And he
He
getting
ain't
up.
moving.
No. Freddie also wants to know, would you ever wrestle in the WWE? I think
Of
that's
course.
pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to wrestle for the WWE, even if it was just a one-time thing?
Right. It's got to
I
be
mean,
almost any pro wrestler's
yeah.
dream.
Who didn't sit there and watch WrestleManias and
Right.
think, hey, be that guy on the thing coming down just like Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Hey, we all thought of it once. If you didn't, then why were you in the business?
Very true. That's a great way to put it. What other wrestling companies would you like to work for that you haven't already?
There's a lot of companies around the area that are big. Limitless, Beyond,
Wow.
Evolve.
Yep.
Those guys, man, they're killing it. CZW.
Yep.
Even IWE Mid-South.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing it. I would love to even go down to New Japan.
Yep.
Learn the strong style over there and get beat up and
You know that would happen too, because that's what they like to do.
That's the fun part about those places. You go and you get beat up and you do some of the beating up.
Yeah, and you learn a lot, I'm sure.
Exactly.
No matter where you go, right?
No
Everyone
matter
says
what.
it all the time. That
learn
you learn every time you're in the ring.
Exactly.
And if you don't, then maybe you should start to do something
Yeah,
else. Because
you're always learning in this business. If you're not, then you better stop.
Right. Last question. It's from a good friend of yours named Jason Stewart, friend of the show also. He says, Bear, you've had a lot of tag team partners over the years. Who has been your favorite?
That's a tough one because I've had everyone from guys who don't wrestled only for a year or two to guys who are mainstays and like Wolfman Banford.
Right.
Wolfie, everyone around here knows him, but knows him as like a crazy person.
Yeah.
I must have went with him forever. Bugsy. We've been partnering up lately. It's all different when you got two big guys.
Yeah.
We control the ring.
Right.
Me and Burley, the family. That always had something on my heart because I'm an Italian,
Right.
With the name Matouch, you can't say I'm not Italian.
Exactly.
So having that kind of Italian gimmick, even though I was the only Italian in it, with Tank the Tank and Bare Knuckle Burley. Burley's Portuguese, he's French Canadian.
Right.
I'm like, all right, this works. And then they put Bull Montana with us. I'm like, all right, I love it.
Right.
And I've known Bull Montana forever. I knew him before I was even in the wrestling business.
Really?
He used to hang down the bar. My dad used to bartend at on the weekends, and he'd always be there. So whenever it was right down the street from my house, I'd go in there, he'd see him, and he'd hand me a picture of him wrestling, or he'd hand me a show.
Nice.
Be like, oh, you gotta come to this one.
Yeah. Bull, great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy. I love Bull. He's always been so nice to me. And first it was my son, then it was my daughter, now it's my grandson. Let's get into the name game.
All right.
First name I want to bring up, and I'm glad that you said something about him off the air, is a guy I've loved to watch wrestle for a long time, Gino Martino.
Gino. I love Gino. I've seen some matches of his where he just sits there and bleed. Powerhouse Pro Wrestling when he worked over for them. I seen him kill himself. But funny story about Gino is I was working at a Domino's and I was delivering pizzas and I go to the house and I knock on the door and here comes Gino Martino and I'm like, what the heck?
Wow.
He was like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you doing here? I live here. I'm like, oh, well, now I know where to come. When you ever want free pizzas, just call down the street.
Right.
I'm right there. And the next thing I know, for like a month, he would call and order a pizza. And he'd be like, make sure this guy brings it.
Right.
Make sure this guy brings it.
That's cool.
So, for a while, it was fun.
Yeah. Gino's always been a great guy to me, and like I said, my family. How about, you brought him up a little early and stuff, Big Jack Maverick.
Jack Maverick.
Guy that impresses me every time I see him wrestle.
He was another one that went to the Superstar Pro
Okay.
Wrestling. I feel I was actually his first match. It was for a Joe Harvard show. I don't know if you really know Joe.
Yeah,
Harvard,
I know Joe.
But a few people do. He used to try and run shows.
Yeah.
And all these people would come, and he'd have to pay them. And next thing you know, he'd be all freaked out. So I was like, you know what? I'll put the show together for you, Joe.
Nice.
And I helped him out. And so I wrestled Jack Maverick on one of those shows for him, and I wrestled Rick Fuller for him down there.
Oh, cool.
And, it was a fun time. But Jack is a good guy, I gotta say. And the funny part is he actually teaches down the street from my grandmother's old house.
Oh, he's a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, very cool. That's I work in a school, so I have a lot of respect for teachers. A lot of respect. Cousin Larry.
Cousin Larry. Good guy. Never really have had any problems with him. Had some fun with him at APW shows when I was doing a little gimmick over there as the caddy guy. But I really, me and him were like kind of like water and vinegar.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a good guy. We never had a problem with him. Just don't really associate with him too much in the locker room either.
Yeah, well, he's up in Maine now.
Yeah,
anyway,
and he's
so.
always up there.
Yeah.
I don't really see him too much.
Right. Another good guy.
Yeah.
How about, I know you know this guy, Jason Rumble, and you got to do a Jason Rumble impersonation.
Come on, kid. Who does the Jason Rumble impression? No one
Everyone.
does it. No one does the Jason Rumble impression anymore. Come on, guy. You should know better than that.
So what about Jay?
Jay, I've known him since I started. He the NWA New England. I wrestled with them all the time. He was one of those guys that would book me nonstop, and I loved him for it. And he's a great guy. Honest, good guy. Always fun to be around. You know, just a good guy all around.
I agree. Jason's always been great to me. We're going to stick around like the Bell Time Club because Jay was one of the first. Jay started.
Oh, yeah, he started
originally.
the
Right.
club.
That's what I thought. Bo Douglas.
Bo Douglas. Bo knows.
Yes, he knows everything. That's what I tell him.
Me and him have actually made a good friendship in the past few years.
Yep.
Ever since the school's been in Wakefield, he's basically ran it, and he teaches those kids everything he knows, and he puts everything he has into that school.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate everything he does in the business because of how much I know from being there, how much he puts into the school.
Right.
You know, and I'll always appreciate Bo for that, and me and him will always. That's like a forever friend right there.
Right. He is a great guy. I mean, it's funny how we've got to continue to say it, but they all are good guys. Mr. Pat Dillon.
Pat Dillon, the guy who runs stuff. Me and Pat, he's one of those guys, man. He doesn't take no stuff from nobody.
Right.
If he wants to do something, he's gonna do it. And if you don't want to do it, you're gonna do it. Well, you're gonna see you later. There's the door. You know, and he's one of those guys that helps Bo a lot too, and especially with the school.
Yeah.
And with the UFO programming.
Right.
That's basically a lot of the school students get their first stuff right from there.
Absolutely.
You know, so again, that's an appreciative thing right there from him.
And no doubt, and he helped me do my first show too on a wham like that. You know, great guy. He told me to ask you, my old co-host, Derek Dukes.
Oh man, that jerk. No, Derek, man, you know you're a good guy. You know you're one of the best. Is he still in Florida?
Yes, he is. He's in Florida.
The flybird there, you know. But I love that guy. He's always been a fun hoot. Always someone good to hang around, you know.
Yeah. Uppity kind of guy, you know. Loves his cigars, his beers, you know.
Definitely
and
loves
that's
to drink
nothing
and
wrong
party.
with that.
No, not at all.
We're going to skip over the next guy because you talked about him a lot, but I just want to add just one thing. Benny Jukes, hell of a talent.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Definitely.
I don't know him well at all.
Definitely
Never really had any conversation with him.
Honestly, he is one of those guys who is so dedicated to the business. You just don't expect it to come out. And you know, if he got out a little bit more and got his name out, he'd be phenomenal. He'd be out there real quick.
I agree.
You know, he's like one of those like hidden gems in the area.
And like I said earlier too, you know, that match he had with Alex Price.
Yeah.
Was incredible. It really was. And you said it too, how he can get a match out of anybody.
Anyone. He can.
You know?
He really can.
That's awesome. A guy that loves you, Aaron Amadeus.
Aaron, good guy, great guy. Not the greatest wrestler, but
he's working his butt off.
He works his butt off out there. He does a lot, and you know, his matches are fun. Even when I get to throw him through a table.
That's awesome. Yeah, he told me to tell you. He said hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, we love you, kid.
We do.
This might be a little controversial, maybe. Chris Bartolo.
Never really gotten along with him. I think he's like a leech in the business. I remember having to hold him up at the Malden Access for a promoter. I ended up putting him up against the wall, and while the promoter sat there and talked to him, some of the guys used to have me do some things, you know. And ever since then, I just, you know, was one of those guys that I just never really liked.
Right.
You know, I just don't trust him, especially, you know, I know his past. I won't go into his past, you know.
I know what you're talking about.
I've never really associated with him.
Right. I've never had any issues with him. I've just, like I said, controversial because I haven't heard a bunch of stuff recently, you know, and it's neither here nor there. Another guy you worked with at BTW, Big Time Wrestling, Tony Delfino.
Tony. You know, it's funny. Me and Tony didn't live far away from each other when we were kids and stuff like that. He played for Malden High. I went to the Vogue.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, when I lived in Malden at the time. Right. So I kind of knew him as a little scrawny kid.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, he grows up, and Jesus, did he grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like this, and the next thing he's like Holy crap! How much did you grow?
Right.
What did they shoot you up with?
Well, it's funny because when he first started wrestling, he was very small.
Small.
You know. But yeah,
Took that Captain America super serum and just
Yeah.
went boop.
him and Bam Shaw were a hell of a team as the Delfonso brothers
Definitely were.
in big time wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. It's gonna get maybe a little sad here right now, a little bit. But I didn't know him at all. AJ Matrano.
AJ was one of those guys. He was funny. He always kept everybody entertained and stuff like that. I remember at a few shows he'd just come out and cut a promo just because nothing was going on.
Right.
And people just let him do what he wanted, and he was good at it. He was such a fun guy to be around, and such a warm heart. It's a shame that he so early, what I'm saying?
No doubt. And from my side of it, because not knowing him at all, to watch him in the ring, he really was an incredible talent.
He was.
He was.
He
We're going to keep it this way for a minute. And it's going to be a great story. You told me off air. DC Dillinger.
DC. I have some very fond memories of DC. Man, that guy, he definitely hit a hole in my heart when he passed. This shirt is actually kind of a memory of him. On the back of the shirt, it says half man, half bear, all Matouch. And anyone who's ever been in a locker room with me and DC at the same time knows that him, Dino LeConte, and only one other person says that to me.
Right.
And those three guys will forever be the ones that will always say that. But DC was the guy who said it the most, and I always loved DC. And so I made this shirt for him.
Nice.
And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and go with what he gave me as a logo and what he gave me as something to go with,
Right.
Then it's pretty catchy.
It is. It's awesome. I'll tell you, the guy got more heat. Legitimate heat, not cheap heat.
Man, no.
He could come out, I've said this before on here, but he could come out and just stand there and look at the crowd and get so much heat without even opening his mouth.
He didn't even, he wouldn't.
Right.
You heard Sabotage 4 times before he even came to the ring.
Yep.
Yeah, no wonder why everyone was booing him. They're bored by now, right? He was one of those guys.
Team.
He'd always stay outside for like 15 minutes of the match. Match is 30 minutes. He's outside 15 of it. Then finally gets in the ring and actually wrestles for maybe a minute, goes back out for about another 2 minutes.
Smart.
Hey,
Smart.
yeah.
Less bumps.
Exactly.
And he got a hell of a talent. Again, I didn't know DC very well either, just from as a fan. Just a hell of a talent.
Yeah.
And again, very sad to lose to such great talent at such a young age, How about we're gonna stick around with the DC and the clique, their little group, George Carroll, who's doing phenomenal things with New Japan Pro Wrestling US.
Yeah,
United States.
He's doing major things. I mean, I remember him just coming to Superstar Pro Wrestling with Eddie Edwards and DC, and he'd sit there and watch him wrestle, and they'd just joke around and while they beat us all up. He was a good guy.
Total hard-working guy, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he got to where he is by strictly working his ass off.
Oh, definitely.
You said it a minute ago, Sabotage. Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards, man. I seen that thing that happened to his eye.
That's crazy, huh?
Oof, that's just a bad stunt gone
Wow.
wrong. But, jeez. But, yeah, he's one of the most honest and humbling people I know. He doesn't take what he has for granted. He works his ass off for it, and he always has.
Yep.
And honestly, he deserves what he's got.
Right.
He deserves
nice.
everything
He does. You're right about that. How about one of the greatest New England managers of all time, honestly, Sean Gorman.
Sean Gorman.
Another guy that could get heat like that.
Yeah, that guy, man. He definitely has a way about him. He can just get the heat. I don't think he doesn't really wrestle much anymore.
No, not much
or do
at all,
anything. I mean, I know he put out the book and stuff like that. But man, that guy was one of those guys, great talent when he was around. I mean, I watched him before I was even in wrestling.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. When Sabotage first started for NECW and stuff like that, I remember going to the shows and stuff like that when I was like, I think I was like 15, 16. You know, yeah, so I've been around the business forever.
Right. It seems like me too. Like, that's why people say to me, oh, yeah, I know you. You've been around. I love wrestling. And it's funny, never wanted to be a wrestler. Ever. No. I wouldn't have mind being a manager, but I never had like that desire to get in the ring.
I see. It was something, when my grandfather passed away, it was, before he passed, he basically was like, go for the stars. Do what you want to do.
Right.
Be what you want to be. And at 18, I was a big guy.
Yep.
I was like, I remember always watching guys like Bam Bam and Earthquake, and I was like, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. And I just thought about what my grandfather said, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go do it.
That's awesome.
Go shoot for the stars.
Nice. You're doing him proud. You brought him up a little bit earlier. He owns the Test of Strength Training Center.
Oh, yeah.
Slick Wagner Brown.
I love Slick. He is one of the funniest guys I know.
Yeah.
He will crack you up in the middle of the back, even just from his laugh. And a lot of people do it. They have his laugh down the he's one of those guys that, he just lights up a room when he walks in.
Yeah.
Great guy, he just had a kid, I think.
Yes,
congratulations, by the way.
Yes, congratulations.
And where he's going in life, I'm sure, he's doing good. And I'm proud of the guy. He's a great guy. Got the school going. Got some good students out of there. Ty
Shine. Wow, huh?
Kid's a hell of a talent.
Yes,
he's gonna be big.
And I'm sure he's gonna have a lot more too as the guys keep training with him. And also, he was a member of the 2K Club with Jason Rumble.
Yeah.
And the next guy, Latin Fury, Louie Ortiz.
Louie, man, I remember Louie for being like, before he was even like the Demon, and that gimmick, I love that whole gimmick, the Demon. But when he was just Latin Fury, Louie Ortiz, I watched him kicking the crap. I never wrestled him, but I used to sit there and watch his matches and just watch him kick the crap out of these kids. And I was like, whew, I'm glad that wasn't me.
Right.
Benny got it a few times.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
How about a tag team that works in UFO? Picture perfect. Vern Vicalo and Dan Terry.
Vern, I loved Vern. Vern's a great guy. Dan, that crazy kid. I was training with him at the school, when he was first training in Everett. I tried to help him out and teach him some things. And, I tried to teach a lot of those. Vern, I never really, trained with, but, I see him all the time.
Right.
Now, very respectful kid.
Yep.
Same with Dan. Dan's a little crazy, though, a little demented, and such.
Yep.
You never know what he's going to do in the ring when you get in the ring with him.
Nice.
Or what, he might whisper little nothings in your ear or something.
Right. Yeah, hell of a talent. Great tag teams.
Great tag
While
team,
we're on that tag team thing, the cool people.
The cool people. Those guys, man, getting their names out there.
Yes.
I see them all the time around here, and Sammy, man, that kid, he's getting better and better.
Yeah.
The other kid, what's the other one's name?
I don't
really remember his name.
I just know Sammy's name. But they're heck of a talent.
They're a heck of a team. Every time I see them, it's always a good time.
Nice.
Always cool.
How about Brian Fury?
Brian Fury. Funny story for Brian Fury, actually. I got stuck doing a thing for Dan Maratti for MWF.
Yep.
They had a weird fair down in Melrose. And it was me and Brian Fury. And Dan was like, here, wear this mask all day and just go around and do dumb things. I'm like, okay, all right.
That's easy, right?
Easy enough for me. So I'm going around doing dumb things, going up to people dancing and stuff like that, just having a good time. And Fury's just sitting there watching me, laughing. He's like, do you do this all the time? I'm like, well, when I get the chance to, and I'm in a mask and no one knows who I am. Yeah, Why not?
That's awesome. How about Trooper Gilmore.
Troop. You know, I had a match with him. It was after I got hurt. He was one of my first matches back.
Okay.
It was at the school for Jay in Everett, and he tried to give me it's like almost like a Death Valley Driver.
Okay.
But it's like the reverse one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm on the second rope. He goes to put me on his shoulders, and I just slipped right off his shoulders.
Right.
And came down on my side and broke my neck. He was like, "You okay, kid?
That's
You
Jimmy.
want to try it again?" I'm like, "No."
Right.
This was before the match too, by the way.
Really?
This was us just trying it. And I was like, I think we got to go over a different finish.
Yeah, absolutely. How about the masshole?
Mike McCarthy. I hear he's coming back soon.
He's actually going to be working for Trooper down in
down on May, right?
it's way down in Mass, near the Rhode Island line.
Plymouth or something like that.
Something like that. Bellingham.
Wouldn't mind seeing someone get CTFO'd.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I miss the guy. I haven't seen him in a while. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I remember when I started going back to the school in Wakefield.
Yep.
I think I got married, so I took a little time off.
Yep.
And I came back, and I hit the ropes, and I took a bump, and he's like, "How long you been gone?" And I was like, "I don't know, like 6 months, 7 months." He's like, "You don't even look like you even missed anything."
Nice. It's got to be nice to hear.
Yeah, it's a good thing to hear, you know? You can just hit the bump like that, and they're like, "Wow."
Right. I was a fan when he was Tommy Knoxville.
Yeah. This is a drop kick.
Yeah.
Bang.
How about someone has just signed to NXT? Warbeard Hansen.
Todd, most respected guy around this area.
Yes.
I love Todd. He's so nice. I mean, he gives you the honest. When I first started doing like the big bear that I do now, with the stuff, and
Yep.
he was the one that told me that I should try and get something to cover this, you know.
Right.
So I did like the skirt thing, and almost a little bit, almost like his.
Right.
But it had its little differences. Like mine's like more like a caveman style.
Right.
You know, his is like almost like Coliseum.
Right.
Going into war, you know.
Yep.
So I showed it to him, and he was like, "This is amazing. I like the art. I like what you did." And I'm like, "Well, you know, I did this because you told me a few months ago, you know, you should try something like this."
Right.
And, you know, so he always knowledgeable and great guy.
Nice. Another guy I'm sure you respect now, because everybody else does. Jose Perez.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what he's doing down there. And
XWA?
with XWA and stuff like that, phenomenal job.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of him. I don't ever want to take another one of his chops, but I respect the hell out of him.
I'm glad I never had to.
It was funny. I did a battle royal. I think I was like 6 months into the business, and he was in the battle royal.
Uh-oh.
But he thought I was an old timer because I looked older than I actually did. I mean, back when I was like 25, I still looked like I was 30. So really, you know, back when I was 18, I think I looked like I was 25. So he thought I've been in the business for a while. He didn't even really touch me. I see him going to light up Benny. Wham! I'm like, thank God.
Right.
Yes. He was talking to me in the back like I was a veteran vet, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." I'm like, "I'm not gonna get." He comes over and he gives me one. I'm like, "Oh." And that was it.
Chops.
I just got the one, and then the next thing I know, he's just chopping the hell out of every one of the new greenies.
Him and Rick Fuller with the chops.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're gonna stay on the respecting thing, I guess, right now because McCool. Sam. Another guy that we all respect.
Hell, I remember he was at the school I was training at, actually. He actually trained with superstar Richard Burns. Him and his first tag team partner when they were the Island Warriors.
Yes, Tony.
Tony.
Yeah.
Right?
Another good guy.
Though the first time I ever had to take a backdrop was a double backdrop from those two guys.
Right.
I almost hit the roof, and I never thought I could.
Yep.
I mean, the building was probably up where those lights are.
Yeah.
That was probably where the roof was, and they almost put me through the roof. And I was like, wow. And then that was before he even lost all the weight and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
And I mean, hell, dude, you look great now.
He
I'm
does.
telling you.
Lot of
I don't
respect
know,
for you, Sam.
You've
Lot
done
of
so much
respect.
for yourself.
Absolutely. What about his, you brought up Tony. What about his other partner that was just at UFO with him? Falaba.
Falaba. That was actually my first.
Impact.
Yeah, that was actually my first time meeting him.
Right.
Good guy. I thought,
Yeah.
he's really fun to watch. It's kind of funny because me and him do a couple of the same moves.
Oh, yeah?
With the steamroller thing.
Oh, yep.
And, so it was kind of funny watching someone do the stuff I normally
Yeah.
do. I was like, oh, well, I can't do that now tonight.
He's a hell of a talent,
Yeah,
too,
he
man.
is.
He was been killing it down in the New Jersey area for a long time.
I'll give, I forget what his name is who runs it, but that Creator
Pat
Pro
Buck?
Wrestling, Pat Buck, there you go. I'll give Pat Buck all the credit in the world because he's coming out with some characters.
Yes.
He's not just training these kids to wrestle, he's training these kids to give them character.
Yes.
And that's what got him on Impact,
One of my
That
favorite characters that Pat has put out is Habib, the car wash guy.
Yeah.
Habib from the car wash. I mean, what a great gimmick. Comes out with the spray bottle. I mean, and people love him.
It's just something different.
Yeah,
Never
you're
know
right
what you're
about that,
gonna
though.
expect.
Pat's done great things down in that area. I think Creative Pro's in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But he used to, I don't know if he runs.
Out of New York and New Jersey, I know.
Yeah. Great shows. He's got like
Yeah.
Kevin Matthews as a mainstay, another guy that I'm a big fan of. I think Kevin's a great wrestler. Dave Padula? New teeth, sorry.
I really don't know Dave that well.
Okay.
I've seen him in a few run-ins, but never really got to know him. But as far as I know, he's a real good guy.
Yeah, he is. So we're going to move on because we got a little over a minute and a half. My phone's been going off in my pocket like crazy. When you brought up Kristen Casanova as one of the top, young talents.
Yeah.
How about Brick Stone?
That kid was one of the names I was trying to think of.
Right.
And I'm telling you, he's pretty big.
Yeah.
And he's got like that Rusev character type look to him.
They call him Baby Rusev. Some of his buddies do.
But I mean, he's got the size. He's got the mana to him. He's gonna do something. Just like the kid Flip and stuff like that.
Oh, Flip Gordon,
that New England Pro Wrestling Academy is doing wonders for these kids.
Absolutely. I want two more names. Retro Sexual Anthony Green.
I've known him since he was a ref, so for MWF actually,
right.
Dan Moratti. I always thought he was a little pipsqueak back then and wanted to kill him, but I love the new gimmick. I love what he's doing. I love he's coming up with characters for himself. He always overmakes himself, always reanimating himself.
Right.
He's doing something good for himself.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, I like this character. Hopefully, it works for him.
Me too. I hope so. And with the last name, we said it earlier, he just won the 2018 Chikara Young Lions Cup. Cam Zagami. Congrats again, Cam.
Cam the Hair Zagami. Good kid. I got to wrestle him at one of the UFO shows for Pat. We had a quick little match. That girl, Ashley Tremonti, was his manager at the time.
Okay.
It was quick. It was only like a little 5-minute match, but it was fun.
Nice. Bear, I'm going to have you on again. Honestly, it goes by too fast, doesn't it?
It does. You don't expect it,
Yep. I want to thank you for coming on. Guys, I'm out. Peace.
Later.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.